Hey guys, welcome back. Firstly, I wish you a Merry Christmas to you and your family, obviously. But today I want to talk about the Ocg Forbidden and Limited List update. I was at my family's over the weekend, so I couldn't really react to this, but I want to do this. And now, obviously, I've already seen the list, and I think it's quite an interesting one, the Ocg being way ahead of us, obviously. So these list hits here are definitely concerning cards that we are yet to get in Master Duel, and that the TCG is yet to get. So this is a way off, but this is always interesting, taking a look at what is going on in the OCG and basically a look into the future of what Master Duel could look like in a few months. So we have the new OCG Forbidden Limited List January 1st update. On January 1st, this will be in place. We have some of the changes, the EFA going from 2 to 3. We have seen this in Master Duel as well as in the TCG, something happening to this on the ban list, and now it's also at 3 once again in the OCG. No real big impact here. This was on the ban list because of Drytron, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was the time when this went to the list, but yeah, now that Ryzeal isn't really a big deal anymore, it can definitely come off, and this is what is happening here. We are cleaning up the list. I like this. Dynamite Backdrops going from 2 to 3. Once again, nothing too fancy here. We also have him at 3 in every other format, and he's not being played at all, so no reason for him to be on the list anymore. We have Destiny Hero Malicious coming back from 2 to 3. This obviously is nice. Having 3 Malicious is just better than having 2. There are some cards that it doesn't really matter whether you have 2 or 3 copies. You might only need 1, but with Malicious here, having 3 is definitely nice, makes heroes better, but then again, not really something to be super hyped about. MX Saber Invoker is a card that has been released from lists over the last few months, also in Master Duel. In TCG, it's still forbidden. It doesn't really matter anymore. We don't have a deck that is very level 3 heavy. Even Goblin Biker isn't really playing this card, and they could definitely. So yeah, it doesn't really make sense anymore to have this on the list. So we are cleaning it up. Then we have Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. The Draco Slayer with the new support, but also nothing that really sees a lot of play in either format. So it definitely can come off the list. And now for the more important ones, we have Pearly Delicious Memory. Going back from 2 to 3, obviously very important. This, for example, is a card where it is very important whether it is at 2 or it is at 3. Since at 3 you can guarantee this coming to your hand by the My Friend Pearly, and at 2 you basically have to mix in the Sleepy Memory. So now you can once again, I think that also in the OCG they have the Pearly Sleepy Memory at 3 also, or this is still at 1. Okay, this is at 1 and this is now back at 3. So now you can guarantee the Delicious Memory. I can definitely see them releasing more of the Pearly cards, namely the Sleepy Memory back to 3 in the future. This will be okay. This deck is still playable. You can definitely go ahead and still use this if you have it also in the TCG, also in Master Duel. But bringing this back to 3, it's totally okay. The time is over for Pearly. And it will not dominate the meta once again. So I like this change here. I really like that they don't let a lot of time being passed until they release cards that are not a problem anymore. So for example, these cards have been on the list way longer than they needed to be. And now in this new era, we definitely see cards coming from the list way more faster. For example, the Delicious Memory. Branded Opening coming back to 3. I also like. They always had this, this thing in the OCG to really hit branded hard. We also have this in Master Duel. In Master Duel, I think it's way more fine, since the deck was, with its locks, a bit more toxic, and we don't have a side deck to properly answer these locks. So I think in Master Duel, you definitely have to constrict this a bit more. I do like this, but here in the OCG, they also still have a lot of hits on the branded engine, so this can definitely come back to 3. I like this. Also, once again, something that has been on the list or has moved to the list quite recently, and now once again moves back from the list. I like this. We have New Layer Semi-Limited, and now the first big one here, 7th Tachyon. And you might ask, okay, 7th Tachyon, whatever. What is this? What does this even do? It says, and it's not out in the TCG yet, by the way, reveal one number XYZ monster in your extra deck that has a number between 101 and 107 in its name. Add one monster with the same type and or attribute as the revealed monster and a level equal to its rank from your deck to your hand, and place one card from your hand on top of the deck, so you will draw it once again. And we were obviously playing this 3 times in Ryzeal. This is one of the most important starters in the deck. And then you would play something like the water one. It wasn't the Utopic Ray Lancer. In the new version, in the Shark version, people were playing the water one. I think this is it. You are playing the number 103, for example, to access the water, the Drake Shark, or no, the Big Jaws, I think. And the Big Jaws can then add the Drake Shark and so on and so forth, giving you even more level 4 bodies to go into your rank 4 place. We were also playing other rank 100s like the Masquerade, which you could use to search any lights, so the X Ryzeal or the Ice Ryzeal. So a very important starter for the Ryzeal deck, which is the most dominant deck in the OCG right now, and also now the most dominant deck in the TCG, and obviously will be the most dominant deck in Master Duel in the future. So they are addressing this. The Ryzeal deck has been around for a while in the OCG now. 7 Tachyon going from 3 to 2 just means less consistency. We have Performer Pal Monkey Board coming from 1 to 2, not really that impactful. We have also seen this going to 2 basically in the TCG, at 3 in Master Duel, and it doesn't affect anything. No one is playing Pendulum, so go ahead and release this. We have Chronograph Sorcerer going back to 2, same argument here. We have Masterpiece, the true Draco Slayer King, from 1 to 2. We have just received this in Master Duel at 3. Nobody is playing it, so just release it. No big thing here. And then we have Morphing Jar from 1 to 2. I wasn't even aware that this card is on the list, but TCG1, OCG2, MD1. Yeah, the times of playing this card and flipping and then discarding a hand and drawing 5 cards, this will never ever be played in the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh, that's for sure. So yeah, what can I say here? And then we have Snatch Deal 1 to 2. We have seen this going to 1 and didn't really make a big splash. Some people were putting this in the side deck or playing this in Master Duel in the beginning, but yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Zodiac Barrage going from 1 to 2. Sure, release the Zodiac stuff, it won't change anything. And then Lunar Limited, we have Cyberjar from 0 to 1. I also wasn't aware that this was at 0. Destroying all monsters on the field, then both players reveal the top guy cards from the deck, special summon all revealed level 4 or lower monsters. Interesting. Can you use this in Ryzeal? No, you can't. It doesn't really matter that this is back from the list. This is a ban from older times. And then we have Gozen Match 2 to 1. This is nice, obviously, since all of the floodgates are quite toxic. We have this at 1 in every format now. Nearly every floodgate is at 1 right now, and I definitely like this. Then we have Allure of Darkness here, and this is obviously, if you're wondering, this is a Malice hit, since Malice is playing this at 2 or 3 copies. It's extremely good in the deck, Malice here. And for example, we can take a look at YCS top list here, where they are not playing it actually. Let's click through here. This is TCG, by the way. So for example, we are playing this at 2 in this list, and over in the OCG sometimes at 3. And obviously it's super nice since you can draw 2 cards and all of your Malice monsters are darks, and if you banish them, then they will trigger and be special summoned back to the field, which is insanely strong. You also have cards like the Shifter, like the Bestials that you can use to discard. So the Allure is giving you a lot of plus moments, and this is just consistency hit for Malice, since this is the second most important deck in the OCG. So this is why we see this here. And then we have Gold Sarcophagus going from 2 to 1. The OCG was the only format that had this at 2. Oh, Master Duel also has it at 2. Okay. We are also seeing this Gold Sarcophagus here in the Malice. Once again, this is a Malice hit. Since the best starter is the Dormouse, the second best one would be the White Rabbit, and then comes the Sarcophagus followed by the Field Spell. So a very good one, very impactful, and once again, consistency hit for Malice. And then we also see the X Ryzeal going from 3 to 1. X Ryzeal definitely being very, very powerful, second only to the Ice Ryzeal in my opinion. X Ryzeal says you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one XYZ monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then if this card is normal special summoned and you control no other fights monsters except level rank 4, you can add one Fire Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. So the Ryzeals can basically always search the other ones, you could say. So the X Ryzeal is able to, for example, search the Sword Ryzeal, which the Sword Ryzeal can then special summon itself, and then you can also go into your rank 4 place here. But the X Ryzeal would always send the Mirror Logic Aggregator to the graveyard, and you don't need to. You can also send, for example, a Detonator, but the Aggregator then has the option to negate a card on field, so you can use this. And I think this is why they hit the X Ryzeal, even if the Ice Ryzeal is the better starter. But the X Ryzeal has this effect of sending the Mario Logic, which means that you can just start with your X, send this to the graveyard, and then negate one of your opponent's interruptions, which is extremely strong. In the end, this might be the strongest Ryzeal, and they put this to 1, which is definitely a hard hit. The deck in the TCG has some consistency issues since we do not have this 7th Tachyon card, but we still have Bonfire at 3, so that's that. But yeah, this deck can definitely suffer from consistency problems, and having this at 1 and also the hit on the 7th Tachyon definitely makes a difference. We also have the Artifact Scythe going from 3 to 1. I like this. A stupid card. Once again, only for locks, so I like this. And then we also have Abyss Dweller from 3 to 0. This is also because of Ryzeal, since you can obviously put this in your extra deck, make it quite easily, and this basically locks a lot of other decks out from playing the game. So you will definitely see a wider format in the OCG with the Abyss Dweller going to 0. Definitely a cool list if you ask me. There are some very good ones like the Floodgates going to 1, and then we have the top 2 decks being addressed with Malice and Ryzeal only getting consistency hits, which in my opinion are the best types of hits since they are the most fair. So I'm a big fan of this list. Hopefully we will see some developments of this in the future as well in the terms of how they handled this list. I would definitely have loved seeing Maxi going to 1 or maybe to Forbidden. This would be very nice, since this would also make it more likely over in Master Duel. But I will also talk about in the video tomorrow, the new releases for Master Duel in January, the Mulch armies that we will get and what they mean for the game. So stay tuned and go check out the video that will drop tomorrow. But now let me know what you think of the OCG ban list. Do you think they did a good job? What do you think should have been different? What do you like? What do you not like? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other tomorrow.